everyone, it's April here. Welcome to this week's DIY. We're starting off with our supplies. I used 3 of these fall signs, one of these pumpkin signs from Dollar Tree, some craft sticks, and my chalk white paint and a glue gun. And then partway through I decided to use this little thankful sign that you can get at Dollar Tree as well. So starting off, I'm just cutting off the strings and flipping my signs over, and I painted the back of my signs. I just think it's easier. You don't have to worry about the glitter or the bumpiness or sanding them down or anything like that. Are you guys into fall and Halloween decor yet? I am so into it, but still hanging on to summer. I love summer, and at the end of this video, I'm just sharing a tiny clip of my garden. It is a huge mess, you guys. We just moved into this house last summer and we're still working on clearing out all of the blackberry bushes, but I was so excited to go out and see one day that I have an actual pumpkin growing. I've never grown pumpkins, so that's really exciting to me. So hope you guys don't judge my messy garden. And I will always put this stuff at the end of my videos so that if you're not interested, you can just click off once the DIY is over. That's totally okay. Next, we're just going to paint our pumpkin orange. I used the color Jack-o'-lantern by Apple Barrel, and then I painted the stem green, but I ended up covering up pretty much all of the stems, so it really doesn't matter what color you paint the stem if you do it like I do. So here I'm just flipping over the signs, and then starting off with 2 of them, I just used a tiny bit of hot glue to hold the 2 pieces together, and then I glued my craft sticks or popsicle sticks onto the back. And this is how I did it the first time, and then I realized as I kept moving the sign around as I was making it and painting it and flipping it over and everything, that it wasn't as sturdy as I would like it to be. I don't want anyone to make this and for it to completely fall apart. So what I would do instead of the way that I'm doing it here is I would take all of your craft sticks and hot glue them all vertically instead of across the seam, I guess. I would glue them all vertically, and then that way it will be totally fine, and you can move it around and put it away for storage and pull it back out and not worry about it falling apart. Or if you have old wood or something like that, you could glue that on the back, and that would be even better yet. But anyway, that's how I started doing it. And so next I just flipped over the sign. I'm just showing you here that I thought it was fine, it was sturdy enough. So next I'm creating my letters. If you guys have stencils, definitely use stencils. I am not the greatest at freehand stenciling. I'm practicing to try to get really good at it. That way I can create my letters any size that I want, but if you have stencils, definitely use those. So I just looked at a picture on Pinterest for the shape of the letter that I wanted and had it next to me on my iPad, and I just traced it and then filled it in with some black paint. And I really love to do this. It's just fun to me. Even though it doesn't turn out perfect, it's just fun. In the future, I will do some different techniques or share with you guys some different ways that you can draw your letters if you at least have a printer. But for today, I was happy with them. I mean, they're not perfect, but I think that they're good enough for my sign. So next, I am going to add a little dimension to my pumpkin head, and so I just mixed in a little raw sienna with that jack-o'-lantern and started tracing some lines on the pumpkin, and I was just kind of being careful. I didn't want to mess this up, so I was a little nervous. So I would start off a little light and then get a little bit darker as I, decided that I liked the way that it was looking. And so I just drew the lines on. And again, I have my iPad set up off camera, so I was looking over at that for reference. I found a picture of a pumpkin that I liked, or a painted pumpkin, so that I could kind of see how the lines were painted on, and I just used that for inspiration. And then I took a little bit of this antique white and mixed it in with some orange to make a really kind of light orange, or I guess it's still kind of whitish, to add some light to my pumpkin, just to add some more dimension, and just kind of painted it on. Again, I was a little nervous at first. I didn't want to mess it up. I mean, what's the worst that could happen? I would just have to paint over it and start over, no big deal, but I was still trying to be careful, and I think it turned out okay. I mean, I think it turned out okay. What do you guys think? So then I decided to add some of this wire jute twine that I got at Dollar Tree like 2 or 3 months ago. I just wrapped it around the stem and then hot glued it on, and then took a couple pieces and wrapped them around my finger to create the twisty part. I wouldn't suggest wrapping it around your finger. I kind of had a hard time pulling it off. As you'll see, you can use like a pencil or a pen or the handle of a paintbrush, anything like that, and then just pull it off, and it creates the little twisty part. And then you can use scissors or a wire cutter to cut the wire and then hot glue it on the back. But I ended up pulling it off, and I decided that I wanted it to be more simple, and I wanted to use the buffalo check instead. I am obsessed with buffalo check. I used to not like buffalo check pattern. A couple years ago I just got into it and I just love it. I don't know what it is, but anything with buffalo check I absolutely love. So there it is. I think it's really, really cute, but I did change it up later. Here I'm drawing my little spider. Again, I had a picture that I found on Pinterest for reference, had it sitting beside me, and I used my little marker to draw my spider, and then just took a little paintbrush and some black paint and filled it in. And again, this is just so fun. I just love painting so much. So I just filled it in and then used some white paint for the little eyeballs. And this is just so fun, and it's something that the more you do, the better you get. You know, you don't have to be like an amazing artist to paint or draw. You can just practice, and if it's not perfect, that's okay. You know, you just get better as you go along. My mom is actually an amazing artist. I should show you guys sometime. She can draw anything, and she draws our Christmas cards every year. She creates a different scene, and she truly is so talented. So I am not, but my family is really talented. So here all I'm doing is just tearing apart the sign. It's super easy to pull apart, and then I just trimmed off the little edges, and then glued one piece to the base of my sign, and then hot glued another piece to the top. Really super easy. I just love the way it looks once I added the buffalo check part on. I just think it's so cute. So I just glued that on the bottom. And then back to my garden story. So we moved into this house last summer, you guys, and the whole entire garden was overgrown with blackberry bushes, like the whole thing. And so far we've cleared out about 3/4 of it. We still have to clear out the rest, and the soil is not good. It's super dry soil. Oh, see there, I just pulled off that little piece. Super easy to pull off, and then hot glued it on the top. Anyway, I really wanted a garden this year. I didn't care. You know, I figured I'd just plant the seeds, and if they grow, awesome. If they don't, no big deal. But I wanted to at least try. So I realized my garden is not this lush, beautiful garden, but I'm working with what I've got. So just keep in mind, I realize that it's a big hot mess, but next year will be beautiful. Just wait and see. Next year I'll share with you guys. It'll be beautiful, green, flowers everywhere. Just wait till next year. So I just glued the pumpkin on the top, and this is where I decided that I just didn't like that twine. I wanted to have a little bit more of the buffalo check to tie in the whole, you know, buffalo check all throughout the sign. So I decided to clip off these little edge pieces and then pull off the little part on the back, and it's really easy to pull off. And see how the sign is kind of bending? This is also where I'm realizing that it's not as sturdy as I want it to be. So like I said earlier, I did make it sturdier in the end. So I pulled off these little pieces and took off my twine, and then hot glued these on the stem, and I think it's so cute. So cute with the buffalo check stem. I like it much better this way. And that's all I did. And I just flipped it over once I did that, made it more sturdy, glued, you know, re-glued my popsicle sticks on. all vertically, and that fixed it and made it much more sturdy. I really like this sign a lot. I hope that you guys enjoyed this DIY. I appreciate all of you guys so much, and I will see you next time. Bye!